All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. We're looking at a concept that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, a smart uniform for law enforcement. But here's the twist. It wasn't designed by people. It was designed by a team of artificial general intelligences. We're going to break down their entire plan, from the fabric right up to the ethics. Everything really kicks off with this one simple but kind of profound question. What if the gear an officer puts on every day could do more than just offer protection? What if it could actually perceive its environment, process information, and maybe even help predict what's next? That's the core idea we're going to unpack. And the answer to that big question comes from a pretty unusual source. Not a human design team, but a specialized group of AIs they're calling the Fab Five. Now, each one of these AIs has a very specific job, a specialty. And we're going to meet each one and see how their piece of the puzzle fits into the whole system. So, first things first. Before you can build a smart uniform, you have to build a better uniform. This is the physical shell, the armor itself. And this is the domain of NITI AGI, the team's expert on material science and design. Okay, so NITI AGI's proposal isn't about one magic material. It's a composite, a high-tech fabric sandwich. The plan starts with a base of Dyneema and Coolmax, so it's incredibly strong but also breathable. Then you've got graphene-enhanced Kevlar for the ballistic panels, which means better protection at a lower weight. It even plans for phase-change materials to help regulate body temperature, which is a huge deal for officer stress. And maybe the coolest part? Conductive yarns, literally weaving the wiring for the tech right into the fabric itself. But look, all the advanced materials in the world don't mean a thing if an officer can't move properly. And that's why the design is all about ergonomics from the get-go. We're talking articulated joints for a full range of motion, an adjustable fit, and pockets that are actually designed for the gear they're meant to carry. This isn't just body armor, it's designed to function more like elite athletic wear. So now that we have this incredibly advanced physical shell, it's time to give it its power. We're moving on to the technology that gives the uniform its senses and its brain. This is where two other AIs take over, Eglena and Dash. First, let's meet Eglena AGI. Its entire job is to be the wearable technology integrator. Basically, it's the hardware specialist. It's figuring out how to weave that entire nervous system, the eyes, the ears, all the sensors, directly into the fabric that NITI AGI designed. And the sheer amount of sensory input being proposed here is, well, it's a lot. The design calls for biometric sensors to keep tabs on the officer's own physical state, heart rate, stress, you name it. An augmented reality display right in their line of sight for tactical info. And body cams that aren't just recording, but using AI to analyze the feed in real time. It's a massive data gathering platform. So, you've got this fire hose of data coming in from all of Eglena's hardware, but data by itself is just noise, right? You need a brain, you need a processor to make sense of it all, and to do it instantly. And that critical job falls to Dash AGI, the AI systems architect. Dash AGI's data pipeline is actually pretty straightforward, and that's what makes it so powerful. Step 1, the sensors gather everything. Step 2, an onboard edge computing unit processes that data right there on the uniform. That's huge for speed and security. Step 3, machine learning models scan for threats, a weapon, a keyword, anything suspicious. And finally, step 4, an alert gets pushed directly to the officer's AR display. It's a seamless flow from raw data to actionable insight in a split second. Let's just pause on that for a second. The combination of all those sensors and that real-time AI brain, it creates an officer with a level of situational awareness that's just unprecedented. It's a quantum leap in capability. And as we all know, with great power comes some really big questions. And that brings us to what might just be the most important part of this entire explainer. How do you manage all that power? Well, for that, we turn to Kingdom AGI, the team's ethical analyst. Its job was to design an ethical framework, a kind of programmed conscience, to make sure this technology is used responsibly. Kingdom AGI's framework is all about trying to walk a very difficult tightrope. On one side, you have officer privacy. The plan says they have to give informed consent for things like biometric monitoring. But on the other side, you have public transparency. The public has to be told how this tech is being used, and there needs to be a real way for them to voice concerns. And the framework designed by Kingdom AGI gets right into the weeds on the hardest questions. It calls for constantly analyzing the AI for biases, creating super strict rules to prevent mission creep into general surveillance, and of course, making sure everything stays on the right side of the law when it comes to privacy. These aren't afterthoughts. They're presented as central to the design. And ultimately, the whole point of these ethical guardrails isn't just about making policing more effective. The stated goal, the mission statement from the ethical AI itself, is that this is all meant to build trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve, not to break it down. So we have the body, we have the brain, and we have the proposed conscience. But how do you actually take this from a concept to a reality on the street? That's where our final AI specialist comes in. Meet AGX AGI, the deployment strategist. Now, the development timeline laid out by AGX AGI is, let's just say it's ambitious. The plan maps out a path from initial data integration through training the AI, securing the communications, and all the way to final testing in just 9 weeks. It's incredibly accelerated. But the plan isn't to just flip a switch and have everyone wearing one overnight. No, the core of the strategy is a much more careful, phased rollout. It would start with a pilot program, getting these uniforms to a few different law enforcement agencies, some urban, some rural, to see how they hold up in the real world, and to get that crucial feedback from the officers themselves. And the kind of feedback they'd be looking for is really interesting. It's not just about technical specs. The key metrics focus a lot on the human element, like officer comfort and how easy the system is to use, but also, of course, on critical things like reliability, data accuracy, and the one thing that plagues all wearable tech, battery life. So let's just pull all those threads together. We've got 90 AGI building the armor. We have Aglina and Dash giving it senses and a brain. Kingdom AGI provides the conscience, and AGX AGI gives us the roadmap to bring it into the world. When you see it all laid out, it's clear this isn't just about a piece of clothing. It's a complete, intelligent, and fully integrated system. Which really leaves us with the one final massive question. A project like this shows us what's becoming possible. It holds out this promise of incredible safety and efficiency. But as our technology gets this smart and this woven into the fabric of our society, the biggest question we all have to answer is, where do we, as a society, draw the line?